Hi, we're back. Today's video is all about AI and the benefits and the dangers of it. What's good, what's bad. I've got some notes I'm going to be reading from because I wanted to make sure I got this right. So let's get going. So, presumably you all know what artificial intelligence is. You've probably heard all the buzzwords like machine learning, deep fakes, algorithms, all that sort of thing. But what do they really mean to you and me? I'll try and break this down to the main perks and pitfalls of AI. In try and do it in everyday language, plain language, because I know not everybody's particularly au fait with the language and terms that are used. So we'll try and keep it sort of like fairly sort of like layman's terms, because that helps me as well, because I don't know some of it. By the end, hopefully you'll have a clearer picture of what AI is and what it can do and what it can't do and what it should do and what it shouldn't do. I don't know. But no, let's jump into it. So why are people excited about AI? What is it that's suddenly now, certainly over the last few months, well, maybe years, what has made it so exciting for people, especially when they get the new like Samsung phones and it's like, oh look, the AI features on it and it can do this, it can do that, and the same with iPhones. You know, you can get people raise people out of videos and out of pictures and all sorts of stuff. That's the exciting thing, isn't it? That's the AI that people know. It's in your phone. It's in that little square thing you hold on to, and it's like, oh, I've got AI. Great, it's brilliant, yeah. But there are some caveats to that. But anyway, let's get into it. What can AI do? What is it good for? It's good for saving time on repetitive tasks. If you work in an office, say, something like that, filling in data, filling in emails, reports, that sort of thing, there's lots of AI tools and stuff that can be used to help with that. So instead of spending your morning copying and pasting, a smart program can do it in seconds, leaving you time to focus on the parts of your job that you actually want to do that needs the human touch. It's almost like having a personal assistant that never sleeps. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Not sure about minimum wage though, but anyway. You also get smarter recommendations. So you look at like streaming services, that sort of thing. How often have you watched something? And then the next time you go into it, it's recommending something. You think, oh, I want to watch that. Well, that's as you watch more and more things on your Netflix and I don't know, Apple TV and whatever, Amazon Prime, it learns what you're watching and what it thinks you might like to watch, and that is an AI algorithm. So that basically, it learns what you're doing and learns what you like, and then it will then use those algorithms to then suggest things that you might like to watch. And a lot of the time it gets it right. Sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of the time it does get it right. So it's that sort of thing it is really clever for. And the same sort of thing with music, or if you trawl into YouTube for recipes or something or other, it will learn what sort of recipes and what sort of things you like, and then it will suggest those things to you, which is great because it does save time, because then you can just go, oh, I'm going to do that. I don't know if it went on Tinder, whether it would pick up your perfect girlfriend or not, I don't know, but who knows? Maybe someone wants to give it a try, maybe. What else? Better healthcare. AI's made massive leaps in medicine. Imagine like you've got an X-ray or an MRI image that's being checked, not just by a doctor, but by AI. I'm not saying the doctor's going to get it wrong, but with AI, it will check multiple things multiple times to try to work out what it thinks is within the image, as it were. It can spot tiny signs of diseases earlier than a human might. It can also sift through massive piles of data and medical research to suggest new drug treatments in a fraction of the time that it would take a human. So that will give you faster diagnoses, better treatment options that could literally save lives. And obviously in the future, AI will be performing operations and that sort of thing. Whether people are going to like that or not, I don't know. Would you trust a surgeon or would you trust AI? The surgeon is fallible. The AI shouldn't be, but maybe. Don't know. It's all in the future, isn't it? Smarter cities and transportation. Again, AI can help with traffic jams, traffic routing. If a city's setting up a new infrastructure with, there's lots of traffic lights, roundabouts and stuff going in, AI can certainly help with working out how best to have the traffic lights set up, how many they should be, when they should be on, when they should be off, whatever. Excuse me. It'll help with public transport systems as well, working out the best routes for buses and trains and that sort of thing. And delivery services, they all use AI nowadays to work out the most efficient way to get from A to B, stopping at various different points on the way. I mean, like DPD drivers and Yodel drivers and stuff can stop like 100, 120 times a day at different places. So their system for their routes is all done by AI. And a lot of the time it works fine, but it's not infallible. The system that my company uses is certainly not infallible, and you get lorries driving past your door that's got my load on it, and then it goes two or three other places, then comes back to me. And it's like, stop on the way. But anyway, what do I know? It can also boost creativity. You sort of think AI can't be creative, can it? It's a thing. It's not creative, but it can be. There are programs that help musicians compose melodies. They assist writers in writing books if they get writer's block, that sort of thing. Can generate designs for logos and layouts of rooms, all sorts of things. It doesn't replace human creativity. The humans spark it by offering it fresh ideas and stuff, and then it'll go off and work out whatever. There's all sorts of things in the building trade. It can be designed. It can be used to design houses and stuff and make them as efficient as they possibly can be. Not just in the energy, but in the way they're built as well. I mean, there's so many things that AI can do and is doing in our normal everyday lives that most people don't really realise it's there. It's just in the background doing what it's supposed to be doing. So there's lots of benefits to AI, excuse me, and you might sort of think AI is great, it's brilliant, but there is a flip side to it. There is a dark side to it as well, and it does make some people very nervous. So let's have a look at that. Jobs is the first thing. People get job worries and stuff because, I don't know, if you're if you handle data every day, you're putting data in, or you're doing sort of like basic jobs on a computer, AI, as we discussed earlier, can do things much quicker. Now, if you're in a job that doesn't need a human touch, and if AI is doing it quicker, and there is no sort of, there's no fees attached to it, money, paying wages, that sort of thing, and it works 24/7, 365. Who are you going to employ? You're going to employ somebody who's going to sit there and type stuff in all day long, or you're going to have a computer doing it through AI, and you just press one button, tell it what to do, and away it goes. history shows that technology can eliminate roles faster than it creates new ones. So as the technology grows exponentially, that it's getting faster all the time. So therefore it's replacing people quicker and quicker all the time. Whereas like 10, 15 years ago, it would replace very few people. Nowadays, it's always in the news about how this company, that company, and whatever else are now using new AI infrastructure and AI this and AI that. And then the next minute you see that they're making redundancies. The two are tied up. It's the AI is replacing people at work. Obviously, there's certain jobs that it can't replace. At the moment anyway, like manual labour, that sort of thing. But certainly jobs where it just involves you using your brain and doing things, at a computer or whatever else, it can. Even call centres nowadays, a lot of that is AI. You're talking to bots and stuff, and you sort of like, it's very good because most of the time you don't actually realise. It's only when it becomes very monosyllabic and it doesn't actually respond to you the way that a human would, you think, oh yeah, okay, I'm talking to a chatbot. But certainly in the first instances, you don't notice. Privacy erosion. Every time you use a social app or you shop online, you leave a little bit of your personal data behind. AI systems can piece this together, and that data builds up a profile of your likes, dislikes, habits, even moods. And this powers services like remind you about an incoming flight or remind you about you got, a dentist appointment or whatever. But it can also lead to unwanted surveillance or targeted ads that you don't want, just because we've all done it. You've gone on Google, you've looked at something completely random that you've never looked at before, and then suddenly your Google feed or your Facebook feed or whatever, it's full of it. I don't necessarily think it's Google listening, but I do think that unintentionally we're leaving our little marks behind when we're looking at things on Facebook and Amazon and whatever, and that all the AI stuff picks it up and it logs it, and then it starts to make a profile up of you, and then you get targeted with ads which you've looked at a shed for somebody else, and then suddenly you're inundated with shed ads or whatever. It's a random example, I know, but you get what I mean. The balance between useful personalization and being creepy and spying, there is a thin line between the two, I think, and we as a society are still trying to figure out where that line should be and how thick it should be. AI learns from data that we provide. If that data contains biases, say it reflects past hiring trends that favoured one group or another, or there was a certain type of person you would hire, but in the past you'd have hired in the past. The AI, if you're using programs for work, the AI, especially with all these new recruiting programs, the AI can actually go through that and it can create biases then, because it works from what you've done in the past. There's been examples where people have been hired over somebody else, not because they're better at the job or they're the right person for the job, but because of previous biases, whatever you've had in there. I'm not saying like racism or discrimination or anything, but the bias towards a certain type of person you've hired, the AI will bias towards that. So you might not necessarily get the right person for the job, you'll get the person that the AI thinks you want for the job. Two totally different things. AI systems are like mystery boxes. We feed in information and then we get an answer out, but we've got no idea how it's arrived at that answer. Do you remember when we were kids, you used to have that little 8-ball thing, you used to give it a wiggle and you'd ask a question, then it would come up and sort of say yes or no or maybe or whatever. AI is not quite like that. It's cleverer than that, but it's still the same thing. You've asked it a question, you've given it a shake, and it gives you an answer. but we don't know how it's come up with that answer, because the black ball thing is a mystery, isn't it? When we were kids, it was amazing. The problem with AI is when it makes decisions about loans or medical treatments or legal sort of like judgments or whatever. It's making decisions on what it knows, not what's there in front of it, if you see what I mean. You know, years ago, if you were a bank manager, you'd have the person sat in front of you, you talk to them, you get to know them. With AI nowadays, you don't get that. It's just literally, Joe Smith wants a loan, he wants £5,000, blah, 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 and it'll just go yes or no. It won't go, right, is there, you know, tell me more about why you need the money or whatever. It's just a black and white, yes or no. Or, you know, it might recommend a risky medical procedure because it thinks that's the best way forward, but it might not know all the background information that it actually needs. Whereas a doctor will talk to the patient and will know them before they make a decision on whether they should or whether they shouldn't have an operation. But again, AI is black and white. Security risks, that's the big one, isn't it? Skynet, anybody? If you've watched Terminator. Just as AI can help bolster our defences, especially sort of like, you know, with the military and that sort of thing, by spotting, you know, potential threats, or even sort of like through the internet and stuff, and network intrusions and that sort of thing, filtering out spam. Hackers can use the AI to actually launch attacks back on yourself. So you think AI is brilliant because it's doing a job of protecting you, but then other people can use it to actually attack you and attack your country or your personal data or your computer. You know, you get these screens come up on your computer saying like, you need to pay us £5,000 before such and such a date, or else we're going to wipe your computer and you'll never have anything back on there again. You know, that's all. They use AI very, very cleverly to do that sort of thing. Phishing emails that are generated on the fly. So you get these emails that you may have looked at something, going back to the sheds, for example, and then suddenly you start getting these phishing emails from these companies abroad. They're not companies, they're people who are then using AI because they've gathered your data. The AI has worked out that you're vulnerable, and then it's sending these phishing emails trying to get you to click on links, which will then take you either directly to a spam site or to somewhere that will try and get you to give your bank details and all your personal data, you know, bank account numbers and your passcodes, that sort of thing, you know. Deep fake videos. How many times have we seen videos on, especially on Facebook and stuff nowadays, that you're looking and think, shit, look at that, but it's not the actual person. So, you know, that opens it up to a massive, massive issue. From my point of view, is how do you know when you look at a video that video is true nowadays? Most of the time it's going to be, isn't it? But, you know, when you're looking at something on the news and you think, oh God, I can't believe that can't be real. That's just, how do you know? How do you know whether it's real or not? But it's the same as when you go back to looking at like smartphones and stuff now. Some of the Samsung phones, you can add people into the picture who were never even there in the first place. I mean, that's a bit, I love tech. Anybody that knows me knows I love tech and I love everything to do with it. But that's a bit weird. I don't like it because a couple of reasons really, I suppose. Firstly, as a memory point of view, that picture never happened. That person wasn't there. Or the other way around, where you take people out of the picture. Again, you know, that's not the memory. That's a fake memory. And for me, I don't want that. I'm all right with, you know, if you've got sort of like somebody in the background or whatever else, yeah, fine, get rid of them and stuff. But when it gets to a point where you're taking people out of pictures or adding people into pictures that were never there, or you want them out of the picture, no, I don't. That for me, that goes too far, because then you'll never, you know, somebody will show you a picture. Oh, look at this. And you look at that picture and like you'll believe what you see on the phone because it's a photograph. But what if the person who's been added should never have been there, and it's made to look at like your girlfriend's having an affair with somebody or something like that? You know, how are you going to know that that picture is fake? You're not going to, are you? To a point, anyway. So the other thing with AI is you lose the human touch. Customer service bots, like I said before, they're not humans. They don't understand. If you're getting frustrated or you're angry or you're stressed or whatever, they don't know that. It's just to them, they ask you a question, you give them an answer, the speech algorithm works out what you've just said and then decides on the next appropriate answer. Doesn't take you into account like that you might be upset and because you desperately need something sorted or whatever. They don't care. It's just literally sort of like, as I've said before, black and white, and that's it. I think that with all the AI, let's say you've got the things for it, things against it. AI is a fantastic tool, but it's also a tool that people have got to be careful of. I think that more and more people need to be aware of AI and what AI can do, especially sort of like maybe we've been a bit ageist towards the older generation. They need to be more aware of AI, not necessarily knowing the ins and outs of it all and knowing exactly what it does do and what it can do, but they just need to be aware of it so that if they do get a phone call, if they do get an email or whatever, they're more wary of it. Because before, when they used to get the phone calls and stuff from the banks, or supposedly from the banks and stuff, I mean, my dad had it several times, that was people ringing. They were still scammers, but it was people ringing. Whereas now, a lot of the time it's AI. And the AI can be cleverer at times of actually getting more information out of you. And it'll understand more of what you've said to gain more information out of what you've said. You might say something that's you think is fairly innocuous and fairly sort of, just basic, but the AI can extract more information out of that and go, oh, right, actually, and then it can piece things together to get a bigger profile of you, to then work out how it can get money out of you at the scam's behest. I think that if you know somebody at a service uses AI, ask questions. If a company's using AI, you're well within your rights to ask questions and to ask why they're using it, what they're using it for, and how that AI is going to gather information from you and what it's going to use it for. You're perfectly entitled to ask for that. Whether they'll tell you or not is another matter, but then if they don't tell you, then for me it's like, bye-bye, I'm not going to use you, and go somewhere else. There'll be plenty of other places that will either explain it to you or they don't use AI. I think there needs to be a balance between the tech of AI and us as a humanity. We don't want to be in the position where the AI is making the decisions that we follow. It should be the other way around. It should follow what we want it to do. It shouldn't be our master. We should be its master. Like I mentioned earlier, Skynet. Everybody's seen the Terminator. Everybody knows what happens with Skynet and everything. But if AI is left unreined in, I don't know. Is there a possibility we could end up in a position where we've got a Skynet situation where the AI is actually in control and we can't control it? At the moment, we can, but who knows in the future? I mean, maybe I'm painting a bit of a black picture of AI itself. I don't intend to do that, but I do believe that for all the good things it does do, and there are lots of it, with health, with transport, with, doing repetitive tasks that nobody else wants to do, that sort of thing, and robots. Robots, Boston Dynamic robots. Go and have a look at them. They're robots that run on AI are absolutely stunning. They're amazing things to watch, especially the dog. The dog is brilliant. But again, that's, they're replacing things that humans can do. So, I say AI is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not always a good thing either. And it just needs to be, I think we just all need to be a little bit more careful about how we interact with it and how we use it, and just be wary of the fact that it is around and it's in our everyday lives now, and it's something that we just need to be careful of. So at the end of the day, AI it's not a villain and it's not a miracle cure. It's a powerful tool that can make life easier, healthier, and be more creative. And it can create new challenges around jobs, privacy, and fairness. That's true. There isn't a choice between embracing it wholeheartedly or rejecting it outright. Let's say we've got to be in the middle somewhere. So for me, the bottom line is use AI where it makes sense, but don't hand over the steering wheel completely to it. Stay curious, stay critical. Keep asking questions about how these systems can affect you and your life. But by getting involved, learning, and being curious about AI, you can only ever help yourself with that. I mean, AI is here. It's never going to go away now. So we need to embrace it. It's how much we embrace it. And like I said, it's how much we let it embrace us as well. At the end of the day, we need to be in control of it, not the other way around, like I've said. So, anyway, hopefully there's still some people watching. I've probably gabbled on for far too long on this subject, but I don't think it's a subject you can just do like a quick sort of like 5 minutes sort of like blah 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 over. It's something that I feel passionate about, and I think that it's something that everybody should use, but use with caution. Anyway, maybe leave some comments about what you like about AI, what you don't like about AI, what you think about AI in general. What do you think about what I've said about it? Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with it? Again, there's no right answer with any of that. It's AI is black and white, but our thoughts on it and our interactions with it and stuff isn't. So let me know what you think, and I'll try and make the next video a bit more lively, a bit more fun. Maybe we might be able to get out and about a bit because it's pouring with rain again at the moment. So yeah, it's indoors videoing today. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, cheers guys, bye. Hi, I'm back. Just very quickly, I may or I may not have used AI to write the notes for that video. I might have used all the notes from AI. Might have used none. Maybe some, maybe none at all. Comment below to let me know whether you think I've used, if it's all AI, or if none of it is, or if you think bits and pieces of it may have been. Just curious to see what you guys think, and to see whether you can actually notice whether there is AI and stuff within that video. All right, yeah, just a bit of fun, but let me know. All right, just put some comments down and we'll see. All right, but cheers, bye.